Hey folks, it's Tommy Frugal Prepper. This is take number 3, by the way. My microphone has decided to just give me some trouble. And then after I'm done, it's like, surprise! Didn't record anything but blank noise. I'm gonna call this video like bursting the prepper's bubble. And it's really gonna be about, you know, what happens when you lose the resources that you've saved up or the plans that you've had. And I find that amazingly there's just some resistance to this idea. I actually got kicked off of this Lifestyle Preppers Facebook group because I made this point. The group's called Lifestyle Preppers, not Doomsday, but I don't think this is a Doomsday scenario. I think it's a realistic one. It's happened before and not too far back history, and it could easily happen again. It will happen again. And I don't think that people have really planned for it in their preps too much. Maybe a little. See, we all have all this stuff that we save, stuff that we accumulate, plans to garden, transportation, fuel, water, food, all this stuff, resources. And that's what being prepared is, right? Is having the resources in storage or having a plan to get stuff when the usual means of getting it is no longer available. Okay, I'd say that's prepping. Okay, homesteading is just acquiring those resources in a different way, like more directly, rather than going to the store and getting them. Homesteading can be a part of prepping, but homesteading in and of itself is not prepping. That's just my view. So basically, we have all these people that are preparing for a catastrophic event or the possibility of a catastrophic event, and many of them relocating to rural homesteads, farms, stockpiling food, water, personal defense armaments, other essential supplies. A lot of this is coming from from shtfplan.com, from their article, and I'll put a link to that down below because I don't want to quote all this stuff off of their article and not link to it. I'm not a topic, or not trying to be like an article thief, right? Whatever that makes me, I don't know, or would make me. Basically, our leader, President Obama, on March 16th, 2012, signed a National Defense Resources Preparedness Executive Order. And it basically says that names who's going to be in charge. The Secretary of Agriculture is in charge of food resources. Secretary of Energy is in charge of energy. Secretary of Health is in charge of any health resources. Secretary of Transportation is in charge of transportation. The Secretary of Defense is in charge of collecting all the weapons. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. The Secretary of Defense is in charge of water. I wonder why. Why wouldn't the Secretary of Defense be in charge of defense? Well, maybe it's because water is so essential and you can't have a defense without it. But it also might be that they're so arrogant to believe that our guns are inconsequential to them. So I have to admit, they have a lot of nice guns, but I would think that if the shit's really going bad, somebody'd want my AK, right? Somebody'd want my 22 rifle. Somebody want my shotgun. Somebody would. I don't know. The Secretary of Commerce. So maybe that means that your guns are safe, folks. I don't know. Maybe they plan to take them away by the following year, so they didn't think it was important enough to put in here, and then that just didn't work out for them. Right? They probably planned to get them away from me in 2013. The Secretary of Congress is in charge of getting anything else, basically. Energy means all forms of energy. Okay, and it names them, but it's all forms of energy. Farm equipment means all kinds of farm equipment or anything related to the manufacture of food, basically. Food resources means anything related to like manufacturing food and food itself. Oh, sorry, that's food resources is like the food itself. Food resource facilities is all the plants and machinery and vehicles and distribution methods and all that kind of stuff have to do with food. They don't have to pay you for it. They don't have to bargain with you, barter with you, agree to take half of it. They just come and take it. Health resources, all your medicines and stuff. National defense. This has a definition of national defense. I don't know. It means like it. This is. I'll just go ahead and read this. Means programs for military and energy production or construction, military or critical infrastructure assistance to any foreign nation, homeland security stockpiling, homeland security, stockpiling, space, and directly related activity. Such term includes emergency preparedness activities conducted pursuant to Title VI of Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Acts 42 U.S.C. 5195 ETSEQ, whatever the heck that means, and critical infrastructural protection and restoration. It means everything, I guess, right? It could be anything. Anything that they wanted to mean at the time. And water resources means all usable water from all resources. So, all the water. And it goes on for some other stuff. But that's the important parts, folks. That's like, you could wake up one day and the could be some armed federal agents at your door aiming AR-15s at you and your family's heads, saying we heard that you were into some canning and see you got garden back there, and we noticed that your neighbor said that you've been driving your car, so we know you must have some gas and fuel, and we see that you got a wood pile for your fireplace. Yeah, that's all going to be ours now, and your only choice is whether you want us to take it after you're dead or in handcuffs, or do you just want to step to the side and let us have it? And they're going to take it all, and you're going to be left with nothing. You know, you might be saying, but look, I'm diabetic. That's the only 6 months of insulin I have. I need it. And they'll say, tough. You know, they might leave you one vial and say, there's your month, but we're going to redistribute the other 5 to give 5 other people a month left to live. What are you going to do? You need backup plans. Okay? There's a point in which you have accumulated enough. Saw a video from Healthy Prepper not long ago. Well, it was made a long time ago. I saw it not long ago. It was like, when is enough enough? I think was the title of it, something to those. And it was, should she keep doing what she's doing? Should she back off from it? Well, Healthy Prepper, if you're listening, what you need to do is divide your stuff up and put it in a couple of alternate locations, if you haven't already. I have alternate locations. I don't talk about them. I don't talk about where they are. I don't show them. I have occasionally made a reference that I do have some alternate locations. But that doesn't go on there because I know there's a good possibility that somebody's making notes in case they ever need to come get stuff. Well, they'll get the stuff in my house, but I'm not. And they might get the stuff in 1 or 2 of my alternate locations if they decide to torture me because they know I said I've had some. But you gotta have backup plans, folks. You gotta have somewhere to fall back to, even if it's to get a week of food, 2 weeks of food. Give yourself some options to figure out what you're gonna do. Better to have 2 weeks that you can stretch out to 3 or 4 of food to come up with another option than it is to have to come up with some option by 6 o'clock tonight for dinner. Okay? Have some cloves. Just you basically a smaller subset of the preps that you might have in your master cache stored off-site somewhere. I wish I could talk about this on YouTube. I think that's why this may not be a common subject on YouTube as much as I'd like it to be. People don't want to talk about it. It's secret. You pass an executive order like this, people are going to keep some stuff secret if they know about it. I wish I could talk about how you hide stuff in plain sight. I wish I could, but I just can't, because if I talk about that stuff, then somebody can take notes and say, well, what about this? You did a video on it. I can see myself being interrogated in front of my house. Now, that being said, there may be a time when there is a real, what I would consider a national emergency. We're being invaded by China or North Korea. I think North's the bad ones, right? South's the good ones? I can't remember. But anyway, we're being invaded by some other country. And our military needs help. I might say, you know what, I'll go hungry. Here's all my ammunition. Here's all my guns. Here's all my food. Here's all my fuel. Go kick those people the heck out of our country. Right? Because if I don't give it to them and they lose, eventually the other guys are going to come take it from me. But I want that to be my choice. If it's something I don't agree with, or if it's something I'm not willing to give up all my supplies for, well, I'd like to have the choice to just let them have what's in front of them and be able to fall back and find some other stuff that I've gotten alternate locations. So it's just a thought. I'd like to start a dialogue about this. I'd like to hear what your comments and thoughts are, why you think we don't hear more about this. Is it something you've thought about? Is it something you've done? If you want and can talk about it. Video responses will be awesome. But if not, I'll probably do more videos to dive into the subject a little deeper, and we'll start talking about things more from a hypothetical perspective, so that we don't have to necessarily say, well, this is what we do, but we can say, well, I think maybe it would be a good idea if you did something this way. You don't have to say it's something you're doing. I'm going to keep things as hypothetical and as non-specific as possible, I guess. But I think it's a conversation worth having in the prepping community. And I know it's really hard when someone comes up and kind of pops your bubble, and you're like, oh, all this safety I thought I had could disappear. It's easy to get angry about that and say, no, it's never going to happen, and kick them off your Facebook group or whatever, right? But isn't that what we're supposed to do as preppers in the first place? Is we step outside of this bubble, this false sense of security that we have, and we realize how delicate and fragile the world around us could be, and how easily it could fall apart? Isn't that why we all started prepping to begin with? Anyway, folks, this is Tom, your frugal prepper. Everybody try to be happy and safe out there, and I look forward to hearing your comments.